I came here 48 years ago on a working holiday, and within 2 days of being here, I decided to stay. There was something about the Alderney air that pulled me in, and other people have said this as well. And it's quite fascinating that people do get pulled into the island. I mean, I ran the Cubs and Scouts at one time. I was the secretary of the WI at one time. I think I've touched most things. I worked for the museum on the desk for a while as well. There's so many things that we've done. I mean, I worked for years for Ray Parkin.
Yeah.
Many years. In fact, I once worked it out to it was well over 30 years off and on, in between having my son and different marriages. Mine, that is.
Is that something Alderney's good at as well?
It is, it's very good at that. Yes, it's extraordinary that, because people find their own level over here. And if there's any discontent in a marriage and they come and settle over here, they meet somebody of like mind and then move on. But it all settles down. This is the wonderful thing. People tune in with each other.
Yvonne, you've been here quite a long while as well, haven't you? And I don't think, sorry?
43 years.
43 years, so yeah, not far apart.
No,
Really,
no.
From what I understand, you didn't know each other beforehand.
Oh no, we
So
met
you
on
met
the
over here,
island.
yeah.
We're also neighbours as well.
Ah, I hadn't realised.
We live next door to
Live
each
next
other.
door to each other, yeah.
Yeah.
This is why we're always out and about together, because, you know, when one goes out the door, the other one comes out.
Yeah. But it's nice you two are pals, and you,
Oh yeah, of course it is.
you've got your sort of coffee places, or you maybe change coffee places every now and then. Yeah.
Well, I often think, actually, don't I? I've said it to you before and you agreed, is that we must have met each other some other time in our lives.
In
You
a
know.
different
that feeling?
lifetime, in
Yeah.
a different
Yeah.
lifetime.
Yeah.
This is the thing with Alderney as well. You find people who are part of the same soul link, and there's a recognition there. And this is one of the things that draws people to Alderney. It's a soul link.
People might interpret it slightly differently, like there's something which touches you spiritually.
That's
or,
right. What touches you best about Alderney?
Nothing. I mean, as I said, I only came over here for 3 weeks and I'm still here.
Oh my goodness. 43 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
5
doing
years.
the job, but also too is that I found it very friendly. And you know, people, even though I'd only just sort of arrived, people were sort of, as I was going out doing things, people were saying hello Yvonne, and you know, it was very friendly and very nice.
So it made you feel
Yes,
part of the
made you
community,
feel at home. So that's how I felt. And of course, when I went back to England to pack up to come back over here, I couldn't get on in England anymore. There was too many people and too rushing about,
Yeah.
too cars and you know.
But you're never tempted to move back to England or anywhere?
No.
And
I
other
was
people.
born in a city and lived in a city, but I couldn't go back to that kind of living.
Yeah.
This is beautiful, beautiful island, beautiful people, beautiful scenery, and it's an island of peace and trust and happiness, basically.
Alderney isn't a captive place, you know, you can come and go. But because it's remote, I think there's a temptation for people to say, well, let's see how it goes here. And of course it doesn't suit everybody, it doesn't suit every couple. Which is what you were saying, isn't it?
Yeah, well, those of us who've been here for a number of years, we do find that the airfares have got astronomic now. But there are plenty of boats that come over. And you can hop on a boat, which is gorgeous. I mean, one of them only takes an hour to get from here to Poole, which is quite
It's
something.
quicker than the M25, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And you haven't got any hold-ups. There's no traffic hold-ups.
No.
The sea's big enough to cope with everybody. But I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in the world.
Well, I suppose it's a lot to expect, even a place like Alderney, a community like this, to not move, not progress. Things will change, but of course it's still at a slower rate than anywhere else.
It is, yes.
Slower rate than any of the other islands,
Because
really.
people suddenly come over and they find they can relax. They don't need to be living on the edge all the time. They don't need to have to think, oh, I've got to be better than so-and-so. This sort of thing doesn't happen.
It's not really competitive at all, is it?
Not competitive at all, no. And it makes for a very peaceful island. It's nice.
Yeah, visitors. A lot of houses being let out.
Can be difficult to find. Since COVID, where people found that they could sell their houses a lot quicker and a lot easier and for a lot more money, it has put a strain on the rented accommodation. That's definite. Very sad, because it means that certainly some local people end up in what we call holiday lets, which means they can stay there in the winter, but in the summer they've got to move on somewhere else. But if you haven't got any ties or any attitude towards something, you can go down to the campsite and you can put up a very homely tent down there, and you're next to the sea. The campsite's got a cafe, everything that you could wish for. So if you're outdoor inclined, there's always a good side to everything. Well, when you think about the people who visited the island, Queen Victoria, she was even on our railway, the only one in the Channel Islands. There's been some famous people that have come here, and you can go out for a drive and see the strangest persons coming out of a hotel. Ken Dodd came out here one day for a show and stayed for a while and thoroughly enjoyed it. And if you go back in time, some of the people who were in the army who came to work on the forts ended up very famous people. Lawrence of Arabia, when he was a subaltern, he worked on Fort Tonk.
Really? My goodness.
There's some very interesting things on the island, and fascinating.
Is that it had a reputation of 2,000 alcoholics clinging to a rock, and of course that Sandy Topcliffe, she did not do us any favours at all when she came over. Mind you, I felt a bit sorry for her because it was absolutely down with rain.
So it's been touched by so many people that it can generate all sorts of attitudes and lives. Here, people come from all over the world to settle here. So you've got different nationalities, different attitudes, but they all come down to a level at some time, which is what I call the friendly level. And they will mix with other people, and there's no problem.
History of the island, when you talked about Ray Parkin, it reminded me of The Island Story, the play that he wrote about the homecoming.
He did.
And that touched a lot of people because there's still folk around who experienced that. I don't know if you saw it, Eve, on the play. We
went to see it together.
An Island Story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we went to see it, yes. He owned the Grand Island Hotel, and it was the place in its time. And the night that it burnt down, I think everyone on the island went up to Buttes to overlook the hotel to see it burning, because it was the end of an era.
Yes.
Something that's never followed since. People who came to work at the Grand, a lot of them did stay. They were pulled into the island.
And his story about the homecoming, that sort of led on to the Battle of the Buttes, I suppose.
It did, and the people still around today who remember the Battle of the Buttes.
The Buttes being the big, what is now the cricket field.
That's right,
just
yes.
Adjacent to the ground
Yes,
site.
it's really one of the main places on the island to go to if anything special is happening.
From what I understand, when the island was occupied, the German army were here, of course people had left and left lots of possessions, furniture, etc.
All destroyed.
Yeah.
But when the war was over, and when finally people were allowed back on the island to nothing, the British government sent them over utility furnishings, hence the Battle of the Buttes. They were able to go there and get stuff to start their home up again. But there's still utility furniture being used on the island because people make use. They don't destroy things over here. In what could have been a very dark, boring wardrobe, somebody could have painted it, and have done in the past, with flowers and decorated it. It's made a lovely centrepiece.
And it's got history as well.
It has, yes, yeah. And there was the story about the boy whose mother put him in a wardrobe because she wanted the wardrobe. So before the Battle of the Buttes, they went up there and he was put in a wardrobe. So when they were told they could go and grab what they could, because this is what they were told to do, grab what you can. Of course, they opened the door and there's this boy sat in the wardrobe. It's mine. Some wonderful stories about it.
Yeah.
There's certainly a very good psychic circle of people on the island.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of light into the island to lift it up because it has a very bad reputation via the war. But then again, the amount of light that people are putting in does make a considerable difference to the island and the people.
Goodness.
But we're here and we're staying.
Yeah.
Yep. I've decided to stay until I'm 100.
I wouldn't be no. Well, you don't have to rush, do you? That's the thing about Alderney. You can take your time getting to 100.
Yes.
And then I want to get my letter from whoever it is that's on the throne, and I want to get my 100th letter from the Queen or whoever, don't I? And one from you as well, naturally.
Of course, Molly, of course.
The trouble as well with the island was we did have a...
There's a pheasant in your garden.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, there's
Lovely.
a chick around
Yes,
somewhere
it's
as well.
a chick. Yeah.
Beautiful. Baby with it.
Oh, look.
This is another thing about Alderney. We have a very good selection of wildlife. And
Yes.
it's not bothered, it's allowed
It's
to
a
run
tiddly
free.
Yeah,
Oh, tiddly one.
And
it's
it's
beautiful,
baby.
isn't it? Yeah.
Has he only got that one?
There were 3,
Ah,
but I don't know if it's the same family.
oh, right. Look at that. Look.
That's
lovely.
beautiful.
Yeah.
They're often here. They like to have a dust bath by that little cherry tree. as
Oh,
well.
how lovely.
Oh, right, yeah.
Now, there's one thing we haven't got is foxes.
Mm.
We
And
haven't got
squirrels.
any foxes. And
Good
no
job.
squirrels, yes.
Good job we haven't.
Oh, I think foxes are beautiful.
Yes, so do I, but I mean, we don't really need them on the
Not
island.
when we've got wildlife like this that
Yes,
will
we
come into
don't.
somebody's
We don't
garden.
need-
Yeah,
Be
that's
happy.
always a price to pay, isn't there? Margaret and Yvonne, thank you so much for coming over. That's really lovely.
It's a pleasure.
Lovely chat.
That's right,
It's
you're
a pleasure.
Really lovely.
Yeah.
We'd
Thank you
like
for the
to-
cup of tea.
Oh, you're welcome. And there's
Yes.
another doggy bag if you like.
No, that's lovely,
Thank
thank you.
Yes, thank you very much indeed.
Oh, and it's lovely that you agreed to come and have a chat.
I'm
Yeah,
glad that
so
you're putting
right,
something
yeah.
out about the island.
Yes.
Well,
It's positive.
in the same way that both of you do, we feel very deeply about it and care about it and want to show what it's really like.